The Mughals' innovations in warfare didn't stop with swords. Elephants were the tanks of their time. And Akbar the Great was the first to understand that a tank needs armor. In Akbar the Great's quest for the riches of India, he believed elephants were the key to military success. He thought an armored elephant was equal to 500 horses.
The armor is really unique. It's the only elephant armor in a public collection anywhere in the world. And although there were obviously, from the surviving historical records, hundreds of elephant armors like these in use in the subcontinent, this is the only one that survives. We think the armor was probably made in Akbar's time, probably around 1600.
At the Royal Armouries in Leeds, England, they're trying to recreate elephant armor for the first time in 300 years. The manufacture of the armor was spread among villagers, with different communities developing different specific skills. Together, they made the whole. A full complement of elephant armor weighed over 300 pounds and comprised over 8,000 plates, linked by chainmail, with square panels decorated with elephants, flowers, and birds. The headpiece was over 2,000 plates, arranged in vertical columns, extending halfway down the trunk with flaps for the ears. Its throat defense comprised another 1,000 plates and alone weighed 25 pounds.
This kind of armor is called mail and plate armor. It's composed of two different kinds of defense. In a sense, the oldest of those is the mail element of it. Mail's very ancient, and it's a flexible defense made of wires formed into rings, joined together and closed with rivets. In Islamic mail and plate, the plates are integrated into the mail and joined together, so the mail gives the armor its flexibility, but the plates which overlap each other give it resilience. In Akbar's time, the kind of mail that was made in India was like this, riveted mail. We calculate that the elephant armor has over 100,000 mail links in it.
Entire villages were enlisted in the time-consuming work of making the plates.
It's about 20 minutes to join them together, and I've got about another 40 minutes on top to make each of the plates. So the whole piece to there, that's about an hour's work.
Right. There's about 8,500 plates in an elephant armor. So 1,000 units like this go to make one up. So that's an awful large investment in time to make a whole armor. Unlike today, when commodities are extremely cheap and time is extremely expensive, in Mughal India it was exactly the opposite way round, and commodities were very expensive, time was very cheap, so you could afford to have hundreds of people doing something very laborious for a very long time.
This tank was sent into battle carrying an armed crew of 3 or 4. The driver carried a hammer and chisel to sever the animal's spinal cord and kill it if he lost control. Akbar was obsessed by elephants. He was only a pre-teen when he received his first one. By the age of 14, he was a master driver. He used them in field engineering and reconnaissance. Moving through woods, they played a vital role in clearing a path so that infantry and artillery could be brought up. They were the spearhead that enabled the rest of the army to get through. Akbar personally owned 5,000 and had the use of 40,000 more across his empire, a staggering number.
You can look at the shock value, particularly in linear infantry warfare, a number of these elephants trained in specific tactics to terrify the enemy, placing one of their giant front feet on the foot of an infantryman, wrapping their trunk around his other leg, and literally pulling him apart, or grabbing the legs of a passing horse and dismounting the rider, breaking the leg of the horseman. So there's this whole kind of psychological thing about the role of the elephant in warfare.
Equipped with their own daggers, they were even more terrifying.
This is an extraordinary thing. This is one of the pair of tusk swords that belongs with this elephant armor. It weighs about 10 pounds and is designed really just like a contemporary Indian fighting dagger of the time of Akbar, with this double-curved blade, with this strongly reinforced pointed tip for piercing through armor. It's designed to fit on the sawn-off tusk of the elephant, somewhere around here, so that the elephant would have natural length tusks, but with reinforced steel armor-piercing points. And it's quite clear from contemporary records that the elephants were really trained to fight with these things and pick up opposing horses and riders with their trunks and throw them to the ground, and made them really quite devastating weapons.
Elephants were also used to carry out executions.
If someone is sentenced to death and they want to make a real statement, they may have him crushed to death under the foot of an elephant. And some of these are fairly graphic accounts where the man's put on the ground and the foot of the elephant applied to the sternum and literally the life crushed out of him.